What's up, guys? Welcome in. This is the Couch Coaches Podcast. It's a college football only podcast run by two guys. I'm Conrad Lunsford, your host, with Braden Likens,
What
who's
up?
freezing for me, but I think we're all good now. Yeah, we're just two normal guys. We love college football, and we just want to talk about it to, I don't know, however many people we get in here. I don't really know. We're not in this to freaking explode. But if we do, that's great. Um, but yeah, so with that, we'll jump into it. We're gonna start with conference previews. We'll start with the ACC and just go through the Power Four, a little bit into the G5. So, Braden, just start us with the SEC. What you got?
I got Georgia. I hunted a couple teams here. Texas has a lot coming in, but with everything that they've lost in camp, injury wise, it's hard to trust their depth throughout a whole SEC season. So I know Kirby claims depth issues, but they don't have depth issues the way that other teams will. So I like the Bulldogs by a couple games, I think.
Yeah, I also have Georgia. Um, but I have them finishing second in the league. I still have Texas going 12-0, even with their injury issues at running back. Um, yeah, still got them going 12-0. I have them beating Georgia in the regular season. Um, but I have Georgia still beating Texas in the SEC championship and getting that bye. And I still have Texas in the playoffs, obviously going 12-0.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, so I have four. Yeah, I got four teams with 11 wins in the SEC this year. Ole Miss is another with 11-1. Tennessee, which I was a little hesitant to do 11-1, but
It
I mean
falls nicely
they
though.
get Florida at home, Bama at home, NC State neutral site.
Yeah. And that Oklahoma offensive line isn't great. So
Yeah,
even going on the road there is not really a big deal,
yeah,
hopefully.
it's still going to be a really tough game,
Yeah.
but and then I have them losing to Georgia. So,
Yeah.
but other than that, they missed Missouri. I think they would beat Missouri anyways, but still they missed Missouri.
Miss Texas.
Miss Texas. They play
Miss
South
A&M.
Carolina, but they'll finish
Miss
near
Ole
the
Miss.
bottom.
Yeah.
No A&M, no LSU. They always beat Kentucky. Ole Miss, top transfer class.
Yeah. They're
I
going to
mean, it
be,
kind of speaks for itself. Jackson Dart, all the weapons they got on the outside is just insane. But what else you got in the SEC?
not a lot. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think it's pretty cut and dry. The only other crazy take I would have in the SEC is I somehow think Vandy gets to a bowl game, but that's really about it. Schedule
That's
doesn't look great. I know. Non-conference 3-1, but I think that they can. They don't get Mississippi State. They don't get a lot of those bottom teams, but I think Pavia can do it. He's undefeated in the SEC. So
yeah, that's true. I don't know. I just don't see it. It's just, I mean, I have to go in 2-10.
yeah, there's a good
They're
chance
just,
you're.
I mean, their quarterback's good. Nate Johnson, Bavier, got a good linebacker.
Yeah, they got a good linebacking core.
Yeah, that's that's about all they got going for them. To be honest, I don't have them winning a game in the conference.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah,
But no, I don't have a lot on the SEC.
yeah. Also, if for the people watching us, these are our predictions. So this is exactly how the season will play out,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so with that, we'll move to the Big Ten. I'll start. I got Ohio State winning. They're just loaded. Just about everywhere except like I mean, not loaded per se at quarterback, but Will Howard is perfectly capable. His only job is to just go out there, don't screw up.
I don't know.
And
They might be loaded at quarterback.
I mean, yeah, they got Julian Sand,
Aaron Olin,
Aaron Nolan,
Devin Brown's
but
back. Devin Brown's not great. Kyle Holzer's still there.
yeah, but they are starting Will Howard, and he's not a game breaker. He's good, but his only job is to just go out there and
Yeah.
just
I say,
don't
I mean,
just don't mess up.
he kind of got pushed out of K State too, so
Yeah, but
he's
for good
still really
reason.
good though.
He's
Yeah, good reason.
upperclassmen.
But
They just love Avery Johnson. I do
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I have Ohio State 12-0 undefeated conference play against beating Oregon in the Big Ten championship. But I don't even know if Oregon, with the way mine played out in the Big Ten, I have Oregon and Penn State both going 11-1, 8-1 in conference play, but they don't play each other. So I don't even know how that tiebreaker is even going to go. I mean, there's probably deeper stuff
Uh,
that I just didn't even get into.
yeah, it's
I've
like
hit, because they
record
both
against the
lose. I have them both
champion.
losing to Ohio State.
Yeah, and then it goes record against the 2 seed, which would be one of them, 3 seed, one of them. So then it'd be 4 seed, and then it just goes all the way down.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
one of Oregon and Penn State in the Big Ten championship.
yeah,
Um, I love Penn
yeah,
State this year,
yeah. They're
especially
really
with the
good.
new offense.
Yeah, Aller's really good, but I have Ohio State as well. I just don't see. I don't think a single team in the Big Ten finishes the year undefeated, though. I have every Big Ten team with at least one loss, especially at the top. And I'm not sure that Oregon. I feel that Oregon has a better chance to have 2 losses versus Ohio State, which is why I gave Ohio State the lean. Um, I think even if Ohio State loses at Oregon, I don't think they lose again. But Oregon has to go to Wisconsin for the first time. Has to go to Michigan. Yeah, some places they've not been, some environments they've not been in a while. Right, toughest environment every year is Oregon State or Washington, like Utah, maybe every now and then. Right, so
Yeah.
having to play in that many tough environments, I think is going to be really tough for Oregon.
Yeah. And I might have said this already, but I have them, 11-1, which I did say that. But their speed at wide receiver is just insane. And Dylan Gabriel's the perfect quarterback for him too. He just loves to. It's completely different than Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Oklahoma was just shot plays, shot plays.
yeah, that's
But
part of the
now
reason.
Oregon, he can just snap the ball, get it out in less than 2 seconds
Yeah,
to either Tez Johnson or Evan Stewart.
yeah, yeah. Dylan Gabriel though, and that. Yeah,
Heisman finalist to me, but we'll get there. Um, I have USC 8-4, Nebraska 10-2. I think their schedule is just super favorable. They have them
yeah,
losing to Ohio State. I can't remember the second loss is. I think it's USC at USC. But year two Matt Rule, that's all you need to know.
Dylan Raiola,
To be
man,
honest, yeah,
Pat Mahomes
Royal is
Jr.
way better upgrade, huge upgrade over Jeff Sims.
Yeah,
As much as I loved Jeff Sims coming in, but he was just terrible. His turnover issues never got fixed. Um, Michigan 8-4 for me. Michigan State, I have them getting to a bowl game. As bad as they are on the in the trenches,
yeah.
I
No,
just
I
love
mean,
Jonathan Smith and Aiden Giles.
yeah, and they're going to get
That's
better
all it
as the
is.
year goes on too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, that's really all I got in the Big Ten, to be honest.
yeah. I don't have a whole lot on the Big Ten either. So the Big 12 is where I get very confused.
Yeah. Big 12 is wild. The conference or America's conference, right?
Yeah, the conference of crazy,
Yeah.
conference of chaos.
Yeah. All right. So, Big 12. We'll just jump in.
I think I have Oklahoma State, and I say I think because I don't feel good about picking anybody. Um, but out of anybody, that's who I feel the best about because he returned all 5 linemen from a year ago that helped the number one running back in America, who's also back, a 7th-year Allen Bowman, a good wide receiver room. The offense is going to be better than it was last year. That defense is going to be good, right? Nick Martin's back, big linebacker from them. More teams called tampered for Nick Martin than they did Ollie Gordon, which I think Says a lot about how good Nick Martin is. And I think it says just as much about how much he wants to win at Oklahoma State. So, and it's tough to play down there, man. It is so hard to play down there. You get the stick people, or the paddle people. The paddle people is what they're called. It gets rowdy.
Yeah.
But I have Utah not far behind them. I mean, obviously, you can't go against Cam Rising, Brent Keithy. Um, I hate it, but I'm not going to sleep on Colorado. I
I
know
don't know. This schedule's too tough.
it
As much
is.
as they upgraded in the trenches, though, it's still not going to be good enough to compete at a high level.
No, but I think they'll be in games more so than they were last year. I think Dion gets better in game as well, which is something that they really needed. If he's a better in game coach, they may end up 6-6 last year instead of 4-8. So, um, yeah, Ollie Gordon though. It's all Oklahoma State really needs.
Yeah. That and their was it like 198 combined starts on the line or something like that?
Yeah, like 196 is insane.
Yeah. They're just loaded
Yeah, nobody else
out there.
has. I think nobody's within 50 of that. I don't think. I
Yeah.
think the next highest was like 138 or 142.
Yeah. But I uh I have Kansas State winning the regular season, but Oklahoma State winning the Big 12 overall, Big 12 championship. Uh, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Utah, all 11-1. So probably won't happen. That's just kind of how it played out in my mind when I was doing my predictions, though. Arizona 10-2, Kansas 10-2. Um, UCF middle of the pack in the Big 12. Still a dangerous team though. Um, but
Man,
it's
that's just a
just
team with Malzahn having a quarterback that he went and handpicked
yeah,
is worrisome. Like this shows shades of that Auburn team in like
yeah,
14 where you go, oh crap.
yeah,
Like and they're better at quarterback than they had when he had Nick Marshall. So
yeah. It's just like this is his quarterback. This is his type, like perfect.
this is his team finally.
Yeah,
So no more Heupel guys down there. Like it's gonna be something.
yeah. And I mean, I don't even know how to describe the Big 12. It's just such a fun conference. Oh, Colorado. I have them going 4-8 again.
Yeah,
Their
I mean
schedule is
it's
just way
tough,
too tough.
and there's a good chance they start the year 1-3. I mean,
Yeah,
but there's also a chance they start 4-0 or 3-1. So I, Colorado's that team. You're like, I wouldn't feel comfortable about doing anything with them.
yeah,
So I'm not going to put any money on Colorado.
yeah. And like, should they got players? Shador, Travis Hunter.
Travis,
I mean, those guys can ball. Everybody thinks that they suck because Colorado sucks, but that's just not the case.
Will Shepard.
You can still have really good players, but suck as a team.
Even though even
That's
though
just
Will
how it
Shepard was
works.
forced out of Andy, but
Yeah,
it's whatever.
yeah,
He's still a good ball
um,
player if he can catch the ball.
yeah. Kansas is interesting to me. I have them going 10-2. New offensive coordinator though is it's not worrisome to me as long as
No,
Jalen Daniels can stay healthy.
that's the thing. That kid's not played a full season in like 3 years.
Yeah,
So that's where I get worried is if Daniels is out. No way they go any better than 7-5.
yeah. Like I mean, I have them going 10-2,
Yeah,
but Jalen Daniels gets
that's
hurt. They're looking at 7-5, 8-4.
yeah.
To be honest, I
Obviously,
mean,
Devin or what's his name? Not Devin. Is it Devin? No, Bean. Whatever Bean's first
Jason
name
Bean.
was. Yeah, he's not there anymore, right? Like
Yeah,
it's just Devin Neal now. If Brown or if Daniels goes down, you've just got Devin Neal.
yeah.
You may have a backup quarterback. You never know till you know.
Mm-hmm. Um, I probably would have had Arizona winning the Big 12 if Jed Fish was still there.
They didn't lose a lot.
Yeah,
That's the
it's
thing
just
about them.
it's just bringing in the whole a whole nother coaching staff.
Yeah, that's the thing though. It's a new scheme, but they didn't lose a whole lot. So that's where I'm very
Yeah,
intrigued of how does this turn out. But Brent Brennan's an amazing coach.
yeah,
But yeah, there's some question marks at Arizona that just make you go. I don't feel comfortable doing taking them to the championship.
yeah.
Defense is good though.
Mm-hmm. And their offense will just be
That defense just keeps getting better too.
yeah.
So
But they're just gonna a lot of their game. Well, not a lot of their games, but it's just gonna be if you match up against them, you're just like I don't even know how you gonna score more points than them. You know, kind of like Tennessee was a couple years ago. It's just
but what's their physicality level?
yeah,
That might be where you can get Arizona. It's just running it,
yeah,
loading the box against them defensively, making them beat you in the air, which they can do, but they're pretty a balanced attack. So interesting.
yeah. Um, I don't really have much of the Big 12. I think Dave Aranda is gonna be fired. Uh,
Yeah.
that's
Maybe though, this could be one of those years where Baylor's like slept on and then pops off 7-0 in the first 8 weeks. You're like,
yeah,
what the heck is going on?
yeah. I got TCU 6-6. They're just too. I just got too many question marks. To be honest, they're just not. They don't got Max Duggan still.
No.
Maybe eventually.
Dykes maybe should have just stayed at SMU.
Yeah, but
Clips it
and SMU will probably
or
be better
ACC.
than TCU. At least I think they will be.
Yeah. Now to the ACC, right?
Yep. You want to
Even though I
start?
just accidentally revealed my pick. Yeah, I'll start. Clemson. Um, they were what they go like 9-4 last year, right? With a bowl win or something like that. I think that Clemson's they played a lot of young guys last year, right? Like they have a top three defensive line in America. They've got a really good offensive line. The run game's going to be fine, right? Maffa's back there, who at points, not even at points, a lot of the time looked a lot better than Will Shipley last year. So you got Maffa, you got that offensive line, that defensive line. Clemson's defense is going to be Clemson's defense. Can they throw the balls? The question. I think Klubnik's got the talent. I just don't know if Klubnik's had the receivers to do it. But they love the receivers they've got this year. I trust Dabo Swinney, so I'm gonna trust and love their receivers that they've got out there this year. I don't think they go undefeated. Obviously, they got to play Georgia week 1. They go to Florida State, right? Or is that game at home?
No, they go to Florida State.
I think they go 11-1, 10-2, just because I'm not the highest on Florida State. So I think 11-1 is very likely for them. Um, yeah, I think Maffa could really end up being ACC Player of the Year if it's
Yeah,
not Preston Stone.
yeah. Um, I got Miami winning the ACC over Florida State. I got Clemson going 9-3, finishing third in the conference. I just they're not going to beat Georgia week 1. That's just I think it could happen, but I just don't think it will. Um, and obviously, like you said, they go to Florida State and they go to Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech's going to be really good this year. I have them 9-3. Um, I just don't see them winning on the road to Virginia Tech. I think Clemson is going back to what they were in the past, especially with their wide receivers, like you said.
Yeah,
With Brian Wesco, that dude is really,
yeah.
really, really freaking good.
Like they've had big receivers, but they've not had these burner guys the past couple of years. Like they don't have an Amari Rogers, they don't have T Higgins, they don't have Mike Williams anymore. But it sounds like they finally got some of those guys back, which is what
Yeah,
that offense has thrived with. But I think you're right about that Virginia Tech game. I think that could be the game that really dictates their season.
yeah,
Because if you go 10-2, you're probably fine, especially if you win the conference championship. You might be fine going 10-2 and not even making the conference championship. But I
Yeah,
think that that's going to be the game that matters the most, especially if those losses are Georgia and Florida State,
yeah,
depending on what Florida State is.
yeah. Um, yeah, with Clemson, I'd like to believe in Cade Klubnik and that they will take steps in the right direction for offensive sake, uh, which I thought that would happen last year. Um, Brought in Garrett Riley and then Dabo. I think it was before the season started, or maybe it was a week, two, maybe three in, and he was like, he kind of just brought in Garrett Riley to just run the exact same offense that they have
Yeah,
with Brandon Streeter. And I was like, why would you fire Brandon Streeter if you're just gonna run the same exact offense with a way better offensive coordinator? That just never made sense to me. So is it finally gonna be
yeah.
the
It
Garrett
seems like
Riley
it's more
offense,
than
or is it
just
gonna be the
play
Clemson offense
calls.
again? Huh?
Yeah, seems like it was more than just play calls.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, but no, I don't have a whole lot on the ACC. I think Virginia Tech is going to be good. Louisville's a sneaky team, just because of how many guys they brought in the portal that were just okay at the P4, the highest P4 level, right? In the ACC, the Big Ten, or the SEC and the Big Ten, they were just okay. Um, but I think they're going to thrive at Louisville, and I think that we see Louisville. I think Louisville's in that 9 to 10 range.
yeah. I
The,
have them. I have them 8-4, but they really could get back to 10 wins like last year.
they hit a weird stretch of like 9 or so games in a row, or 6 or 7 straight games, which is going to be tough for them.
Yeah,
But yeah, better at quarterback. Running back's the only question, but they look good. Like
yeah.
they
And
feel
the
really good at
secondary
running
too
back.
was really, really good.
Those receivers are insane. This might be the best receiving core ever at Louisville.
Yeah. Um, Syracuse. We haven't even hit them yet. I have them going 10-2. I think Cal McCord will not be pedestrian. He got away from Bill O'Brien. I think everybody should get away from Bill O'Brien if they had to play for him. But anyways, I think he has a Bo Nix type turnaround. Not as good as Bo Nix was, but the type of super pedestrian to just almost not playable to a
Yeah,
good
I mean,
starting quarterback.
I think they do a lot of what Georgia does, just because they're bringing in a lot of guys from Georgia. So it's going to be interesting to see what that team is, though, for sure. What that offense looks like.
Yeah, defense will
Um,
be really, really good.
yeah, yeah.
They're
What
going to be
else?
physical. That's for sure. Oh, we Notre Dame. We'll just throw them in with the ACC or group of. Well, they are technically the group of five because they're independent.
They're
But
not. They're just loners. They don't even play.
yeah, um,
They're,
12-0. That probably won't happen. But I just have them going 12-0. This prediction.
what do they have to go to keep Freeman?
Uh,
7, 8, 9.
is Freeman? Do you think Freeman will lose a job? Maybe.
I
I
think
don't think so.
if they go 4-8, he's
Oh,
out.
4-8. Yeah, then
I
yeah,
think if he's
might be
six and
gone.
six, he's out. Like
Ye-
he's got to be in that 9 range.
Yeah,
8, eight's going to be close. It's going to depend on what you look like against teams like USC, like Texas A&M.
yeah.
So
And like they open with A&M,
yeah, and
and that's
their
gonna.
starting left
That's
tackles out,
yeah.
which we might touch on later. So sorry for the spoiler.
But I just think the upgrades they made offensively, especially bringing in Mike Denbrock, that's huge. Especially with and pulling in Riley Leonard, they got good wide receivers. We know the defense is gonna be really good. I don't know why. I'm not a person who just loves Notre Dame. Like They're the greatest thing ever,
you've
huh?
always loved Notre Dame.
No. I've honestly hated Notre Dame in the past
Yeah,
until
no.
I've always thought they were overrated, and then I was asked, "What are they rated?" And they've really been rated perfectly, just
If
about.
if Notre Dame goes 10-2, is that good enough for a playoff spot?
It depends on,
Who their losses are to?
yeah, like if they
What if
lose to
it's
Virginia and they lose
what?
to what? Who they play? Temple or something like that.
But what if
Um,
it's like they're not going to lose to Purdue. But what if it's like
yeah.
USC and A&M? Do they play Florida State?
At home.
So you beat Florida State and then you lose USC and A&M.
Yeah, and those are both road games.
You go 10-2. Are they in? They're probably looking at the 9
I
seed.
mean, preseason. What are they top? They're like seventh in the nation, right?
Yeah, something like
Um,
that.
yeah. If you're preseason top 10 and you go 10-2, you're probably in the playoffs
Yeah. No
because they are
conference.
they are a G5, right?
No.
Technically,
I don't
right? I
think
mean,
I don't think anybody knows how to look at them. I
yeah,
think they look at them
because
as like the ugly son of the P4.
yeah, but I mean, I would think so. Preseason top 10, you go 10-2, you gotta make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think if it's
I just
anything
don't see how you wouldn't
less than
miss.
9, Freeman's out.
Yeah,
But no, I think at 10-2 you're definitely in. It's just yeah, it's going to depend on how everything else shakes out.
yeah,
What we got next? G5?
yeah. I got Liberty. I know you hate
Yeah,
that pick,
I
but the
don't hate
schedules is
it.
so easy.
That's the thing. Their schedule is so easy. No one's
Yeah.
going to be like, Liberty. Like I got. I mean, like we talked about earlier in the week, their schedule is literally App State, Western Kentucky, and Jacksonville State.
hmm
And I think you have to win those by 10 plus to be respected.
Yeah. And I don't even think you have to win App State by 10. I just think you need to win App State.
Is that at
But
App State?
yeah.
Yeah, you could win that one by a touchdown and be fine.
Um, but pretty much any other game you need, you got to dominate, to be honest. Because Memphis is going to be up there. Boise State's going to be up there. USF is probably going to be there too. Or
Yeah.
I don't know if by the end of the season, maybe not, but throughout, I mean they'll be making noise.
I mean, you got North
Um,
Texas too. I mean, they're returning a lot,
yeah,
and they'll be pretty good.
Texas State.
Yeah, Texas State, Washington State
hmm
return. They didn't really lose. What did they lose? Like I'm not 100% sure what they lost. They returned almost everything. They're just
Yeah,
not in the Pac-12 anymore, and they're in the Pac-2. So, but I have Memphis in the is the G5 auto bid, I guess. Um, Everybody loves to talk about how Virginia Tech is going to be good because of how much experience they have, how much they have returning. Memphis is the same way, and they brought in some P4 transfers to that have a lot of experience as well. Maybe not necessarily with Memphis, but playing experience, which is going to be interesting. Seth Hennigan was sought after by a lot of P4 programs, right? So it shows how good he is. Senior receivers, they're good. They're really good. The offensive line might be a slight question mark just because it's a G5 offensive line. The defense is good. The secondary is good. Their linebackers are really good. Probably best in the G5. Your dad's here.
and just wave
Um,
at them.
but yeah, I got Memphis.
Um, yeah, with me, Liberty is there's no bias at all. How could there be?
Because it's you.
uh, huh?
Why? Yeah. Why would there be any bias, Conrad?
Yeah, I don't know. Um, they bring back Caden Salter and Quentin Cooley. That's that really just does it for me. I think Salter's gonna have 50 touchdowns
They got a good defensive
total.
line.
Yeah, dude, they upgraded so much defensively. They're pretty.
Yeah.
Their season there. They okay. They did lose their best corners They actually lost both their corners, Preston Hodge and Kobe Singleton. But Preston Hodge, he was he was honestly pretty bad. Kobe Singleton, really good.
Yeah.
But I just trust Chadwell. I think they're gonna just absolutely run through Conference USA again, especially because they get Western Kentucky and Jacksonville State at home.
The
Their
Jacksonville
only
State at
tough
home's
road
big.
game is App State.
Yeah. I mean, is there anybody else in that conference that could sneak up on them?
Other
No.
than Jacksonville State and Western Kentucky, no.
Yeah.
Kennesaw State, maybe they'll come out of nowhere.
I mean, they said they're here to win it all, so maybe.
Yeah. Um, that's all I got in the G5.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot. I think Memphis is legit. Boise State, I would have liked to seen them being in it. I know we'll touch on this later, but I mean, I had Boise State on here up until they announced that Malachi Nelson was not going to be the starting quarterback, which makes you wonder just how bad they are at quarterback. So, but they have Ashton Jeanty, stud. That's all you need to
Yeah.
know about them. So, yeah.
Um, okay, so now we're gonna move on to our podcast poll. We have a whole system of how we do things. It's very secretive, super in depth. What's going on back there?
I don't know. I just keep hearing noises. I had to make sure it wasn't homeless people trying to break in.
Yeah, so our poll, we just use, we have our system. It's perfect. There's no flaws to it at all. Um, so I'll I'll just run through it, 1 through 25 or 28, because we voted for 28 teams. So we'll just give who's ranked or rated, and give the other receiving votes. Okay, so we got Georgia at 1, Ohio State number 2, Oregon number 3, number 4 Texas, then Alabama, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Penn State, Michigan. Kind of surprised Michigan made it in the top 10, because I think I had them at like 16, so I thought that would kind of bring them down. But Florida State at number 10, so that rounds out the top 10. Missouri, Utah, LSU, Tennessee, Clemson, Oklahoma, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Miami, Arizona, Kansas, Texas A&M made it at 22. NC State, USC, which I disagree with. I didn't think USC should have made it in, but that's just the way it went out. Iowa at 25. Maybe they'll make serious strides on offense this year. Maybe they won't look like West Side. No disrespect to West Side.
I mean, McNamara, they said, is definitely separating himself. So that's going to be interesting to see what that fully means. Does that mean he's not going 6 for 18 and 19 yards and he's 7 for 12 with 34 yards or what? So, yeah. What is Iowa's offense?
Yeah. Are they going to be top 100?
Yeah. I think they're in that 72-ish range.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a big jump.
That defense will be top 10.
Yeah.
Which is that going to be enough to win them 9 games?
I have
With
them
that
at
schedule, it's
8
possible.
4.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I mean, they're
mean,
going to lose at Ohio State. Like, there's no doubt about it.
yeah.
But yeah, interesting.
Yeah. But so 3 teams that didn't make it inside top 25 but were close: Virginia Tech, Washington, and Liberty.
Yeah, I love Tech. I think Virginia Tech's the real deal. So It's
Yeah.
obviously why they got my vote.
Yeah, Cameron
Uh,
Jones is a dude.
yeah,
I mean,
he's
there's
a
no other way to
baller.
put it.
Baylor transfer. Maybe that's not as much as a brag as it sounds like, but he's good. I mean, he's going to light it up. He looked really good at the end of last year, and nobody left. Right? Don't they return like 94% of production on both sides of the ball? Something like
Yeah.
that? It's crazy.
Yeah. hmm
Yeah. But what we got next? Predictions for the playoff?
Yeah, playoff prediction. You can go and give yours.
So, in my top four conference champions, to recap, I have Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, Oklahoma State. And then I have Alabama, Oregon, Texas, Tennessee, Virginia Tech, Penn State, Memphis, and Iowa State. I think Rocco Becht gets them in. Um, I think they just play sneaky all year, right? Like I don't outside of non-conference games, I don't think they really win a game by more than 14. Um, but yeah, Penn State, I think they're going to be good. Memphis, we already talked about. Virginia Tech, we just talked about. Tennessee, Texas, Oregon, Bama. They're all going to be really good teams and really good conferences. So they can afford a loss or two and still make it in.
Yeah.
And
All
out of
right.
that, I've got
Oh, my
Georgia and
bad.
Ohio State playing. No, my fault. In the national championship. And I think, gosh, it pains me to say, but I think Georgia wins the national championship again.
Yeah. And okay, so I think Ohio State's gonna win national championship. I'll just go ahead and say that. I probably would have said Georgia, but with the whole Ra Thomas, losing him is huge. Um and I don't know how many people realize that yet, but I think they're gonna be able to run the ball, they always run the ball. But
Yeah,
losing Ra Thomas is huge.
I had heard that he had fallen down to like fourth or fifth on the depth chart before he got
Really?
cut. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I wonder what that means. Because they got Lovett still, and then they brought in the kid from Vandy, Humphreys. Is that his name?
hmm
Landon Humphreys, London Humphreys, whatever. Which apparently they're very high on. Look at those tight ends.
Yeah. But like Kirby said, they had depth issues. They're just absolutely hurting for talent at Georgia.
Yeah, give me a break.
But my biggest question with Georgia is, and I think it's everybody, is D line. Are they going to be able to pressure the quarterback consistently or
Yeah,
at all?
can that back seven do enough to get you coverage sacks?
Yeah,
We need to make sacks great again.
yeah. Um. Okay, but back to the playoffs. Recap my conference champions. I got Ohio State. I'll just go through 1 through 12. Ohio State, Georgia, Miami, Oklahoma State, and then 5 through 12. Notre Dame, Oregon, Texas, Ole Miss, Penn State, Kansas State, Tennessee, and Liberty. Which I don't really know how much I could explain there. Tennessee went 11-1. Didn't make the conference championship, but only loss being to Georgia, I think, is enough to get them in. Ole Miss also making it in. Uh, I can't remember who I had their loss to though. It might have been the Georgia.
For who?
Ole Miss.
I think that's what you said.
Yeah. Either way, 11-1. Um, that's enough to get you in. Penn State 11-1. I think I said Kansas State 11-1 made the Big 12 championship. Texas SEC championship made it. Oregon made the Big 10. Notre Dame is undefeated. And then Liberty, they're gonna go 13-0. They just have to dominate to
Yeah,
make it.
for real.
To the Invitational where they're just gonna get freaking killed by and here Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And they would be at Notre Dame too. All right, so Heisman. We love Heisman talking August.
Love it. What do you got?
uh, so I got Ollie Gordon winning. Uh, my finalists, I got Dylan Gabriel, Jackson Dart, Luther Burden, and obviously Ollie Gordon. With Ollie Gordon winning, um, I got a dark horse, KJ Jefferson.
Yeah, solid stuff there. I got Jalen Milroe winning the Heisman. I think this offense under um, DeBoer, Kalen DeBoer, is just going to be very much to Milroe style. So I think he's just going to go crazy. And then I have Ollie, Drew Aller, and Carson Beck, with my dark horse being Kyron Drones from Virginia Tech. I don't know if he'll win it, but I think he's a dark horse to at least make it to New York, right? I think if you put up crazy numbers and go 9-3, 10-2, I think he's there. Um, Carson Beck, obviously. So yeah,
Yeah. Um, and Drew Aller is like, I guess you could say he's fascinating. He's fascinating to me. With the new offense, to me, and if I had to guess, maybe to most people, he's been pretty underwhelming. He's been underwhelming to me since he's been in college. He put up good numbers last year. He doesn't turn the ball over, but he hasn't been as like game breaking or turning Penn State over to and they're taking them to the next level as I thought he would yet. But I feel like this could be that year
yeah.
with the new offense. They brought in oh my gosh, I am blanking
The
on the
receiver
name.
from Ohio
Ohio
State.
State. Yeah,
Yeah. Why did you have to ask it? Come on, Conrad. I can see his face.
I can too. He's a 5 star.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
not
you know
Igbuka.
what? I'm
It's
not be
not
unethical to get
obviously
on my
Jerry.
phone during this, but Julian Fleming.
Yeah, Fleming. Golly, how did we forget that?
I don't know. I can't believe we didn't get that.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be good. So I do think it's funny. Neither one of us had Will Howard, Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, Igbuka on this list, and probably the best offense in America
Yeah,
at Ohio State. But
yeah. But
maybe
Will
there's
Howard ain't
just
gonna make it. You gonna put a
maybe
game
there's just
manager?
too much. Is there too much there? Carson Beck, not Carson Beck. Um, Never mind. I lost my train of thought.
I think with Ohio State though, they will run the ball really well because that's just
Yeah,
what Chip Kelly does. Um, I just think him or Judkins being him and Travion Henderson will split snaps. I just think it's gonna be
they're deep at running back.
yeah.
They'll be fine.
It's gonna be two all over the place for one of
Yeah,
them to make it.
yeah, I think you're right.
If anyone's gonna make it to be a finalist, I feel like um might might be a super hot take, but I can't believe I'm blanking on a freshman wide receiver.
Jeremiah Smith.
Jeremiah Smith. I was about to say Jonathan, but that's not right. Yeah,
No,
Jeremiah Smith,
if anybody was
best
to
wide
make it,
receiver prospect ever.
yeah, but I still think Igbuka's their number one guy by a mile.
Yeah, he still is.
But yeah, so
But
hey, this Oklahoma State QR code thing's actually pretty dope.
yeah,
And
I
what the
just think it'd
heck
be
was this
awesome.
rant he went on yesterday about NIL, and now they're doing this? What is
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
But I
That's
think,
great timing.
yeah, I think it's funny that he was against stuff that doesn't help the whole team. Now he's like, no, NIL for the whole team is great,
Yeah,
but not for individual players. I think's great, especially in season. I love Gundy. Um, any coaching hire that's ever happened anywhere, I'm like Gundy, especially at Tennessee. But obviously, I'm happy now. So, yeah, I think it's dope.
yeah.
And
I think
ESPN, Fox, they'll be zooming in on that crap all the time.
yeah, I think it's funny. Like, let's say Ollie Gordon rips off like a 50-yard run.
And then just
You zoom in
points.
on his QR code and then you give him $20.
Yeah. Or like, what if he scores and he just points at it?
Yeah,
Well, I thought it just goes all straight to the players' fund, though.
I'm not totally sure how it works. I haven't even like dove
I
into it.
read a
I just
little
saw
bit
it's
about
gonna
it
be on
today,
there.
and it said it was going to go all to the players' fund. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean it's a super cool concept. I mean it's
it'll be interesting to see how many other teams adapt it to.
yeah.
Um, other
It's
news
just
though,
how is it
oh,
really gonna is it gonna work well?
I think
I
so
don't know
because
if I can see it working well.
they said they're also gonna put them on Twitter and stuff like in game and such as TV
Okay.
networks, the school, all that. So I think they have a pretty solid plan from what I read. Um, but yeah, other news though, we touched on it earlier. Malachi Nelson losing that job to a kid that did not play well at all last year. Really,
Yeah.
um,
Which how I mean, is Malachi Nelson really that bad?
who missed on him that bad recruiting wise? 5-star prospect coming out of college or high school.
Yeah.
Lincoln
High
Riley
school,
thought
yeah.
he was something though.
Mm-hmm. And he still chose Miller Moss over.
It was yeah.
No
So what's
disrespect to
going
Miller
on?
Moss, but
No, but like what's happening with Malachi Nelson? I think's a big question.
yeah.
Um, but I mean, I think it's
Next Tate
really going to
Martell.
show. Yeah, maybe. But I think this is where we're really going to see Ginty play a big role for Boise State even more so. I mean, obviously best running back on the West Coast. No offense to Jay Knott, but not the West Coast, but the West side of the country.
Yeah.
Ginty's just good. So I hate to say it. I'm not sure how much quarterback's going to play a big role there, except obviously on passing downs. Yeah, this may take them from 11-1 to 9-3 in that conference. If anybody can figure out what the Mountain West is this year, I'm not sure anybody knows going into it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Um, other things around the country. Oh my gosh, Mizzou's defensive depth is a big question.
Yeah. And I think they're really hard to predict for me. I mean, I still have them at 9-3 just because their schedule is pretty cupcake-ish, especially
Yeah, they play
it's
like what 7 new coaches this year.
yeah. It's just their defense before Blake Baker was there was
It's
terrible,
horrendous. Minus the D
especially the
line.
run always
Yeah, but that D line could always get a pass rush. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
and now he's gone. So is it gonna go back to
It makes you wonder
what it
what like
was?
why do you leave? I mean, they lost what 7 guys off that defense last year. They brought in a transfer from Clemson. I can't remember his name at corner, who's really good. But other than that, they don't have a whole lot in that
Yeah,
secondary. Linebackers look to be okay. Defensive line looks thin. Um, yeah, gonna be interesting for sure.
yeah, and it
Um,
makes LSU's defense like pretty fascinating too because their defense was absolutely terrible last year.
yeah, but how
So
much
is
better?
there is there, are they gonna make like a Missouri leap defensively? And they're
Good
gonna have the
question.
offense.
Yeah, it may take a class or something like that to get it in there. Some transfer kids. I mean, obviously Harold Perkins is a dog. The secondary will be fine. It's LSU, but what else do they have? Will be the question.
Yeah,
If they can get a pass rush, they'll be fine at LSU. Like really, if they can do that, they're good. That secondary's good.
yeah,
Um, so not so big news. Lenore Sellers and Malik Murphy are now the starters. Even though Lenore Sellers was named the starter coming out of spring, I'm not sure why we had to re-announce it. Didn't know there was a battle back open
yeah. I think it was
down
just
there
a
in
Shane Beamer thing, just trying to
Columbia.
get back into the.
I hate
Be
Shane
like,
Beamer.
oh yeah, South Carolina, they're over there. Miss the bowl game probably.
Yeah. Malik
Who
Murphy,
cares?
Texas transfer now at Duke. Um, not a shocker there. What else did Duke have at quarterback?
Yeah,
Not a lot. I mean, Leonard's gone. So, I mean,
yeah,
they didn't play bad without him last year, but Malik Murphy's a dog.
yeah,
Um, One-time backup quarterback at Texas. So, something to take in consideration.
yeah. Was over Arch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same class, right? Or is Murphy a year
Uh,
older?
I thought he was a year older and he had a
He might
red
be a year
shirt.
older. Yeah, retro. Yeah, that's right. Um,
Uh, what else do we have in our general news area, Conrad?
Smile Mondon. I've never heard anybody say it. I think
Yeah,
it's Smile
charges were
Mondon.
dropped. Yeah,
Yeah,
Munden. Charges dropped, which means we know for sure he won't get a suspension of any kind now, right?
yeah.
Um,
He'll get a firm talking to by one of Kirby's guest speakers
yeah,
that he brings
yeah,
in. That
it's gonna
do they even
work.
talk? I think he just kind of brings them in. They just kind of sit there. They don't even talk. I guess. I guess that's what happens.
I don't know. I think he talks, but nobody listens. They'll got their AirPods in or something. I
Yeah.
mean, man, crazy stuff happening. But I did hear somebody say that this happens at every college. Just Georgia's the number one team in the country, so you know about it.
And
Because
who? Tell me. I know who it is, but who is number one in arrests for like the college football program?
I saw this the other day, but it didn't list the school, but it hinted at the school, and now I can't even remember. Why should I know it?
I don't think so. I didn't know it. It was really shocking me, but also at the same time, not
Who
really. As
who
I
was it?
understand, Washington State
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all, actually.
and it's by a mile. It
Yeah,
seems like
but nobody
Georgia's
would
like
know about
freaking
it
running
because
away
nobody
with everything.
people don't talk about it, right?
Yeah, because one,
That's a
it's Washington State, and two, I mean, you're up in Washington. What are you gonna do up there?
yeah. I was watching an
The only
ex
thing to
coach
do is
talk.
just get arrested.
Yeah, I was watching an ex coach talk, and he was like, honestly, Georgia's probably like sixth, seventh in that. Like, it's not as many as people think it is. Um,
Yeah, it's
but
just because
yeah,
they're Georgia, so it gets blown up. It's still a terrible issue. People have
oh,
died.
terrible issue. But it's not
Like,
as much as. Well, I'm not gonna finish that, but it's not that. It's not as rampant as people make it out to be. Like, there's not a culture problem in Georgia.
yeah, but
All right.
is there?
No.
I can't
So
point it out, but there might be.
there could be, I guess. Maybe, yeah.
There might be. There might not be. There's only two options.
So underrated players, right? Is next on our agenda.
Yeah.
You go first. Tell me what you got.
You've already mentioned a bunch. Ashton Jeanty. I
Sorry
mean,
about that.
1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns last year, and they plays for Boise State. I don't know if the casual college football fan really even knows who he is.
Yeah. Uh, no, he's one heck of a dog, and he'll be a lot of fun to watch this year, especially with
Yeah,
how many times he's going to get the ball.
yeah,
Even more so now. My guy is Elijah Huzzy, right? One time ETSU corner, now at the University of North Carolina. Had to play out of position last year, but he had 42 and a half tackles, 3 interceptions, 9 pass breakups, and 1 punt return for a touchdown. And they said him playing back in position this year is just in the spring, you could tell a big difference, which is crazy. Just slot corner to just corner made that much of a difference for him, but it did. Um, yeah, 9 pass breakups just a year ago. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do back in his more comfortable position, um,
yeah,
especially in the ACC. And they don't have a terribly hard schedule, but I think he'll be first team All ACC for sure. Uh,
would you bet on it?
oh yeah, I would
Put
bet
money
on
on
it.
it right now.
Oh, I would definitely put money on it right now. He would be something like he's one of those guys that makes a difference defensively to make you go like in a 50-50 game, be like they're not throwing that way. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how you throw in this UNC secondary if you're not just elite. They're insane. Um,
Yeah,
oh my gosh. I just blanked on their other corner. Um, yeah, and then they bring a safety back off an ACL injury from last year. So they're going to be really good defensively, secondary wise. The rest of it, they feel comfortable about, especially up front. So, yeah. Hey, you know what we have this weekend?
football.
Football.
Finally.
Yeah, no more preseason NFL crap either.
Yeah,
We get good stuff, games that matter.
yeah. Which sucks. Well, let me start over. It sucks that the Georgia Tech game and Florida State game is at noon.
Aren't they in a massive time difference though?
Yeah, it's in Ireland,
Isn't it a night
which
game there, or is it a 4 p.m. kick?
I think it's a night game.
I thought it
It's
was.
Ireland. It's got to be a night
Yeah,
game.
it's got to be a pretty big difference. Who knows?
But and here's my like, if you want to take no disrespect to Ireland, because whenever Nebraska and Northwestern went there,
It's
really good
awesome.
turnout, and but like it was a great turnout. Fans were awesome. But why do you need college football to go to freaking Ireland?
Yeah, it's a cool thing. It's not my team, so it's
You
fun to
know,
watch.
like if you NFL, they want games in London because they want to grow the game globally, and that's fine. It's a pro business, Um, but I don't know. I just don't like it being in Ireland.
I
It's
don't mind
just
it.
why does college football need to go to Ireland?
I
It
think it's
just
cool. I think it gives these kids a chance that may not get a chance to go out of the country either, other than this. So I think it's a pretty cool thing. And I don't think that they have a travel roster sides either, so that's even cooler. I'm sure they still implemented one. But yeah. But
yeah. I
what do you
just
got in
hate
this game?
neutral site games. Is
Yeah.
my thing. Aside from
No, I get it.
Texas, Oklahoma, and Florida, Georgia,
Uh,
guys like that.
yeah. What do you got in this one?
I got I got Florida State. They're favored by 11, but I got Georgia Tech covering. Georgia Tech's offense is going to be freaking
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think Tech covers. Um, I think the under hits pretty big here. Right, it's down to
Yeah,
50. Um,
55 and a half.
or yeah, that's
That's
what
an
I meant.
easy
55
under,
and a
I
half.
think.
Especially with how new everybody is at Florida State, right? New quarterback. You really only got one returning receiver. The rest are well, you got a true sophomore, and then redshirt senior, and you got a kid coming off an ACL injury from last year. So, but a lot of new stuff. Um, I think the run game's going to be big there, right? They got the kid from Alabama, good offensive line. Um, and then on the other side of the ball, Georgia Tech's defense. That back seven's really good. The front seven or the defensive line, I just semi worry about that they struggled against the run last year, putting pressure on any quarterback as well in the pass game. But reports sound like it's better because they brought in some transfers. They brought in a kid from USC. Can't remember his name. Jackson, I think. I don't remember, but sounds like the Georgia Tech pass rush is better. So I think if Tech can figure out how to get Florida State in passing downs, passing situations, I think this game could lean Tech a little bit more, just because I don't fully trust DJU to just sling it around like that, right? Um, and then offensively for Georgia Tech, Haynes King, if he can take care of the ball, it makes you feel really good. Um, Georgia Tech's got a lot of receivers too that can play. One freshman All American kid. I think I misquoted that earlier to you, Conrad. Um, I mean they can flat out play. Running back, were they number one or number two in the ACC in rushing yards a game, something like that, right? Both of these schools were top 5 in rushing
Yeah.
for the
No, Georgia
ACC.
Tech was number 1 last year.
They were
Yeah.
okay. I can't remember if they were one or two.
It was like 280 game or something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, the under is going to hit hard. Both these teams are going to run the ball upwards of 40 times, if not
Yeah.
more than that. So yeah, I think Tech covers. I think Florida State maybe wins it by a field goal, maybe like 4, something like that. Maybe like a 24-20 game. But yeah,
Um. Yeah. I don't really have anything else.
there's not a lot else there. I mean, what are you really going to learn from this game?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to learn a lot.
Yeah.
Our
It's week
second
1
game, right?
or week 0 actually.
Yeah,
Sorry.
our second game and our final game, SMU at Nevada. Um, I've got SMU. I don't think SMU covers. I do think the over hits though. I think SMU only wins by like 24, right? So like I think they just barely missed the cover, but I don't think that they cover. Nevada doesn't have Chuba Purdy. He's hurt. He's not played in camp in like 3 weeks or something, and he goes for an MRI next week. So they're playing a kid that I don't think they fully expected to start. And Nevada's got a lot of new pieces, a lot of work to be done, so that'll be interesting. Preston Stone, I mean, he got a little hurt at the end of the year, but he sounds 100%. Jordan Hudson, they're insane at receiver. They're deep at running back. This isn't your normal G5 to P4 jump team, right? SMU's really good.
Yeah.
So I think SMU handles business easily, and I think they just run out the clock in the end. So I think we do hit the over, and that I don't think they cover though.
Yeah. And it's SMU for people watching or listening. It's SMU minus 27. Over under is 56.5. I got SMU covering and I got the over. Um, there's just not much to it. I mean, Preston Stone's back. SMU is just really, really good.
Yeah,
Nevada is not good. It's
no,
just there's just no other way to put it. I think SMU's just going. It's a
yeah,
road game for SMU, but um, I still think they will just cruise. It'll be over by middle of the second quarter. They might just be covering by then.
yeah. I mean, SMU's probably got one of the best running back duos in America, which is
Yeah.
insane that you can say that about a team that went G4 to P5 or G5 P4, but you can. So yeah, this is gonna be a really good game. That I don't know if it's gonna get enough attention. Um, it's going up against a couple things, but not a whole lot. But hey, college football's back. That's all that matters.
Yeah. It's been
Um,
way too long.
you're not kidding. Uh, but yeah, I think that's it for tonight, right? We'll be back next Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever we edit and put out. So
Yeah.
uh, we're still kind of new to this, so give us some grace with all of it.
Yeah. We will
Um,
never be ultra professional unless somebody
no,
comes calling that gives us oh my gosh.
good money.
My bad. I just got a text. But yeah, unless somebody comes calling and gives us all this crap and we can be super professional, but that right now, that's just not gonna happen.
No. All right, I
So
think that's it for us, right?
yeah. And if you made it to we're at an hour and 2 minutes. If you made it this far, that's awesome.
Hey,
You
we're
know?
gonna edit though. It'll be a little down,
Yeah, just a little bit.
maybe like an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We covered it pretty well.
Yeah. All right. See you, dude.
So yeah.